So here we have our second stanza. Let's start with this. Let's have a reading first. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. Miniature bogs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. So let's see what the poet is trying to tell us. Now the poet here is talking to someone who is cutting the tree. Clear? The poet is straight away addressing the person who is trying to cut the tree. So the poet is saying that, so hack and chop. So he's saying do whatever you want to do. Hack means irregular blows. Like if we talk about a professional, he picks one point that I have to hit at this point. So he will only hit at this point and his aim will not be lost. But if we talk about someone else, someone who is learning something, who is not skilled that much, and if we ask him to hit it, he will surely miss his aim. So he is saying that you are hacking, means making rough blows on the tree. Chop against everyone must be knowing the meaning of chop. That is, we chop vegetables in the kitchen, means cut into pieces, or we can say repeated blows at one single point to cut it. Clear? So the poet is saying that, so hack and chop with any sharp instrument, you can attack this tree. You can make regular or irregular blows on its bark, but this alone won't do it. But again, it won't help you, means there will be no result. And why there will be no result? Let's see. Not so much pain will do it, means this much pain that you are causing to the tree by attacking it, that pain is not enough that for the tree that he will lose the hope of surviving, or he will accept the death. It is not enough. The bleeding bark will heal. Now bleeding, everyone knows the meaning of bleeding, means blood. When blood comes out, we say that we are bleeding. And how the bark is bleeding? Suppose if you are getting a cut on your hand, the blood comes out. So we say the blood is oozing. The blood is oozing out. So in case of the plant, in case of the tree, what will come out? Will blood come out from the trunk of the tree? It will not come out. The liquid or the fluid that will come out is called sap. It is sap. So when we attack a tree with our irregular, with our rough blows, a fluid comes out from the tree, or the sap oozes out of the trunk or from the place where we have attacked that particular tree. So the poet is saying that the bleeding bark will heal, means it is having so much powers in itself that it will heal it. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. Now the poet is telling us that it will heal. Like if you get a cut on your hand, with time it heals. Clear? It heals with time. It doesn't cause you much pain either. Means not much. You don't suffer from that much pain if it is a small scar. Clear? So if you are having a knife and the tree is so huge in size and you are just making a cut with knife, will that cut cause that much pain to the tree? It is not at all possible, and it will heal itself because the body organs have that much efficiency that they can heal themselves. Like if we talk about ourselves, we have white blood cells to fight the diseases, we have platelets which fill our wounds. If we are wounded, they help the wound to heal. Similarly, the plant, the tree also had functioning in his body. He has the capacity that he can heal itself. The tree can heal itself. Those scars can be left. Scars. Scars means If we talk about, like, if you have got a cut, your cut is healed, but you still have a mark of that cut. That mark is called scar. So scars may be left, but the wound will be healed. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. Now, if the poet is saying that suppose you have cut the tree, it is the earth, and from here you have cut the tree. If you will not watch it out, you will notice that the tree has there from the side of the trees small twigs. Twigs means small buds. They have started to rise from the sand. Why? Because the roots are still dug inside the earth. They are still holding the earth tight, and from there they get the nutrients and the seeds starts to bloom again. They start to rise into a sapling and then into a plant. Miniature bogs. Now what are bogs? When you see a tree is starting to have branches on it, when new branches comes, they are really tender, means they are very soft, they are not that strong when we compare it with the trunk. So miniature means small in size, and the new rising stems of the tree, which if unchecked, means if you will unchecked here means if you don't attack them again if they are not attacked, means again if they are starting to come and you tear them, you break them at that very time, it will not rise again, it will not grow further. But if they are left unchecked, means you pay no heed to them, you pay no attention to it, they will again rise stronger, will expand again to former size. Like you can see even in your school garden or in the gardens or in the parks, you can see if regular trimming of the plants that are grown in the park or in the garden, if it is not done, if the regular trimming is not done, you will see that they grow huge in size. They are back to normal the very time you leave them unchecked, the very time you stop attending them, the very time you stop trimming them. So he is saying that if they are left unchecked, they will again be back to normal. They will expand in size. So now let's talk about the rhyming scheme. First, here you will see that the words are repeated. So we have repetition over here. The first thing that we get is repetition. Do it, do it. Repetition we get. The other thing that we can notice is bleeding back. So it is, you can say consonants or alliteration. Both will do. So second we get is here. The other thing that we missed in the first stanza as well, you can find it, check it in your books. You will notice that there are no punctuation marks at the end of the lines. There are no punctuation marks at the end of the lines. I missed a punctuation over here. So we find no punctuation mark over here. That means the line is continued to the next. The idea is not having any break and it is continued further, and it is called enjambment. It is called enjambment. So we get 3 poetic devices in this stanza. Again, it is written in free verse. We don't find any specific rhyming scheme. So first we notice is alliteration. The second thing we notice is enjambment, and the third thing that we noticed is there is no rhyming scheme in this stanza, and repetition is also there. Free verse will be counted in all the stanzas. No rhyming scheme. Other than that, alliteration. Then we have repetition. Then we have enjambment. I hope second stanza is clear to everyone. So let's move on to our third stanza now. So here we have our third stanza of our poem. Let's see what it has. Now the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be rubbed tight and pulled out, stabbed out, or pulled out entirely, out from the earth cave and the strength of the tree exposed. the source white and white, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. Now in the previous stanza, I have told you that the poet is addressing the person who is trying to cut the tree. And the poet is telling him that the thing that he is doing, the manner in which he is doing is not at all appropriate. So he needs to change his ways in order to kill the tree, in order to achieve his motive. So in the very first line, he is telling that it is not the way, what you are doing, it will not help. So what will help? He is telling the root is to be pulled out. The main cause of the trees standing strong on the earth is its root. So the poet is telling that if you want to kill the tree, you will have to pull out the roots, as they are the one which provide nourishment to the tree. Because water, which is an essential part of the process of photosynthesis, without which the food for the plant will not be prepared, that is absorbed by the roots, and the nutrients needed are also absorbed by the roots from the earth and sent to various parts. So if root is not there, one essential part will be lost, and hence the plant will, or the tree will die. Out from of the anchoring earth. Now what does anchoring earth means? Anchoring earth means the earth which is providing nourishment, which is providing support to the roots, which is helping the plant, the tree, in its survival. So you need to separate out the roots from the earth, because if roots are not there, the tree can't stand strong. And how does roots stand? How the roots help the tree to stand? They have a huge control over the earth. They hold the earth tight, and hence the tree is able to stand strong, and it can bear the several blows of the harsh environment. Here, next is, it is to be robbed tight and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely, out from the earth cave. Now the poet is telling two ways of pulling the tree out from the earth, or we can say from the earth's cave, from inside the earth. There are two ways in which the tree can be pulled out from the earth, and if the roots are not present, if the roots die in any process, the tree will also die. So the two methods that are provided by the poet are, what is he is telling in these 4 lines? He is telling that either you will have to pull the earth out and pull the roots out entirely. And how can you do so? Suppose it is the tree, you will have to rob the tree around and you will have to pull it out. If your efforts are huge enough, then you can pull it out. Now, how to compare the efforts? Everyone must be knowing, must have studied work done in your chapter of science. What does that say? You can only lift an object, or you can only push or pull an object. I am talking about the force that is to be applied. An object will only move if the force applied by you is stronger, or it can overpower the force of that thing which is standing. Suppose you are having a huge rock in front of you. You won't be able to pick it up because the force that you are applying is much less. Then it is much lesser than the weight of the rock. But if it is a small pebble, you can easily have it. You can easily lift it, or you can throw it, because the force or the strength that you are having is greater than the capacity of that rock. Similarly, the poet is saying that if the force that you will be applying, it is greater, only then you will be able to pull that tree out from the earth, or you can say from the earth's cave. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now the second method that he is telling us is that break the tree, cut the tree into parts and then pull it out. Clear? Either pull it out entirely in one go by wrapping it and just pulling it with huge efforts, or you can cut it into pieces and pull it out. But the thing that you have to take care of is that you are pulling the roots out. Because if the roots are there inside the earth, again a new tree, a new plant will rise from those roots. And the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. Always we have seen that roots are hidden inside the earth. The stem goes in the opposite direction of the roots. The roots go underground, so the stem goes upside in the opposite direction of the root. So he's telling that once you have pulled the roots out, the strength of the tree will be exposed. Clear? Why he is using the word exposed? Because the root is stronger only till the time it is inside the earth's cave. Only till the time it is underground. Once it comes out, once the roots come out, they will die as they can't bear sunlight. They are wet. Roots are always wet as they absorb water and nutrients. And if the roots dry up, the plant will die, the tree will die. So strength is used. The word strength is used because the roots are providing strength to the plant, to the tree. They are helping them stand strong. And sensitive, why? Because if it is outside the earth, it is of no use as it will die very soon. So I hope it is clear to everyone. So now let's look at the poetic devices used in this stanza. The first one that we can say is, I have done the marking. Now you have to tell me what is the poetic device used. You can even take this part. What is the poetic device used in this and this? Great. It is repetition. The words are repeated, so it is repetition. What if I say check these positions? No punctuation is there. So if no punctuation is there, what is the poetic device used? Exactly, well done. So it is enjambment. It is enjambment. Next thing if we talk about is, let's see who will tell fast. White, wet. What is the poetic device? It is alliteration, or you can say consonants. So we see enjambment, repetition and alliteration, or you can also say consonants. I hope this stanza is clear to everyone. So now again one thing you have to notice, this stanza is also written in free verse. The entire poem is in free verse. So now let's move on to our last stanza. So here we have our last stanza of our poem. Let's see. Then the matter of scorching and choking, in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Now here we are told, the previous stanza what we were told, how the tree is to be killed. What is the process that is to be followed. Now the poet will tell us in the stanza that after pulling out of the tree, after uprooting the tree, what will happen? I've used a word over here, uprooting a tree. Pulling out its roots. Uprooting the tree, what will happen? Then the matter of scorching and choking, in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. So now here the poet is telling us that what will happen after the tree is uprooted. What will happen? Scorching and choking will begin. How? What does scorching and choking means? Scorching, heat, everyone knows, excessive heat when you can't bear it. So here the poet is telling us that the root that was soft, the root that was white and dry, it was white and wet. It starts to dry up. It starts to die. It is not that you will uproot the tree and the roots will die all in a go. It is not so. The process takes, means how are we chopped when it comes to us? We don't all of a sudden lose the breath. The choking starts. And even if we are chopped, even if our breath is lost, still everyone knows that our body parts have different timings. Means the heart will be living till that much time after the death. The eyes can work. They can be, we say that we can donate our organs, because even after our death, the organs are still alive for a particular time limit. For that particular time limit, they can be used by someone else. So similarly, the poet is telling that the roots also remain alive till some time. They slowly and gradually die. And it begins with drying up of the roots. In sun and air, the sun, due to sun, the humidity, the water that was in the roots, it evaporates, hence leaving the roots dry, and same does the air. They absorb the moisture from the roots, and what happens after the moisture is lost? Browning, means the roots that were white in color, they start to, their coloring starts. They were colorless earlier, they were white, now they starts to become brown, and with becoming brown they also starts getting hardened, because they have lost the moisture which kept them tender or soft. Twisting and withering, and then it is done. And after all this is done, when hardening is done, when you will twist it, the entire root will have died till that time, after losing of the moisture, after browning and hardening. And the process completes of the, which process? The process of the death of a tree. I hope the poem is clear to each and every one. So now let's come to the poetic devices. Again, you must have noticed the poetic device, enjambment is there. Another thing that you can see is alliteration is given in this. Here we have it and is. So we have alliteration. So the poetic devices that we have seen so far in this poem are, we can name them obviously. First is alliteration. Second, here we will talk of this then. Enjambment is there. Third, if we talk of is metaphor. In the leprous hide, we got metaphor. The next thing if we see is repetition. Clear? These are the poetic devices used, and everyone knows that the poem is written in free verse. I hope the paraphrasing, the explanation of this stanza is clear to each and every one. So now we are left with the explanation of the title, the theme, and what is the message that we get from our poem.